Welcome to the Art of Black Miami podcast, sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our stories introduce emerging and experienced artists who make Miami an exciting place to live and visit. I'm Rosie Gordon-Wallace, curator and arts advocate. Miami is home since the 1970s. My passion is cultivating the vision and talent of contemporary artists from the Caribbean diaspora, artists of color, and immigrant artists. Many cultures and languages come together to shape the character of Miami. Artist Marvin Weeks came to Miami as a young man, carrying in his mind the traditions and environment of his Georgia birthplace. Our diaspora city widened his experience of Caribbean culture.
And I'm originally from the Georgia Sea Islands. I'm a Gullah. So that whole experience of how it connects not only to North America, but the Caribbean has always inspired me, and the culture and how to use natural things, that inspired my art. Right now, I'm really creating murals and what have you out of natural fibers and leaves, so you'll see a lot of that coming for the future. So I brought that to Miami and really made that connection from there. And the neighborhoods in Miami, the experience of seeing the diversity of the Caribbean, all brought it to me to continue that process I started in Georgia.
What neighborhoods in particular have inspired you in Miami?
Liberty City and Overtown, those neighborhoods definitely inspire me. But I also see that whole interconnection to all the neighborhoods, but those neighborhoods stands out because we can't be everywhere. An artist, in my opinion, cannot start his work until he look at the environment around him. And I couldn't actually paint until I felt like the environment in those neighborhoods around me was conducive to understand, in my opinion, to excel. My work has been a balance between my body work and activism.
You've been involved in heritage communities since you came to Miami. Can you tell us about your history with the African American Cultural Center?
The African American Cultural Center spurred a whole movement of murals and that type thing. I was a part of an article by the Miami Times back in 1998 that talked about the murals. Other neighborhoods like Coral Gables would never permit the murals that was already prevalent in African American communities. Now we have Wynwood. So I was speaking about how African American artists were doing murals way ahead of time. It's the thing that drives the art community in South Florida.
Marvin, I think it's very interesting that Black communities have been historical leaders in mural movements in cities across the U.S., like Chicago, Philadelphia, New Orleans. You are one of the leaders of the mural movement in Miami since the early 1990s. Where can we find your work in Liberty City?
I recently did a piece of Betty Wright that's in the area we call the Broadway Art District. It was a tribute to her and her legacy. I did an interview with her last year where she talked about that area and how the legacy of her music was important. Charles Drew Elementary, I'm doing some stuff over there, artist in residence, you might say, working with the principal to work with the kids in that area. Charles Drew, he was a medical doctor, and I wanted to parlay it with the COVID-19 that came in. It was a perfect time with that mural and that project and Inspire.
Will you share with us how you determine where your murals will be cited?
So I look at location. Collaboration is important, you know that. You can't do it without the surrounding community and others who is going to see the life of that piece.
You have an ongoing mural project on a building across the street from the Liberty City Police Department. I see it often. What is the story you're telling with that painting?
I'm working on a mural on 62nd Street and 10th Avenue across from the police station. It's highlighting people who are affected by violence and kind of calculating that to try to show love and some sense of coming together in the community.
What was the moment you realized that you would become an art advocate in Miami?
I'm originally from Brunswick, Georgia. Arthur Mcduffie is from Brunswick, Georgia.
For those who don't know, Arthur Mcduffie was a Black gentleman, an insurance salesman that was killed by the police when he was heading home from his own business in the Liberty City area of Miami in 1980. No one was charged at first, and the Black community was outraged.
In Miami, a crowd demonstrating against the verdict gathered in front of the Dade County Justice Building.
And so with the incidents that happened here in 1980, I came here in 1980. Maurice Ferre was the mayor at the time, and I talked with him about the art. I said, art would change Miami. That's the thing to get involved. And it was his intentions to say we'll do some things, which didn't necessarily parallel out, but that was an early intervention that I did. And I came here during that year, and I came to really paint. It wasn't my intention to come in and get involved in anything, activism. I wanted to come and paint. Later, Art Till placed me on the committee to make this place an art center. This establishment we're sitting in right now, the Ward Rooming House, and I was the only African American on that committee. And he put together the Little Haiti Culture Center. I sat on the committee with that. But he had a pre-vision. But it was the early days of talking about how the diversity in Miami could bring all artists together.
Historically, it's been challenging for Black artists to get recognition for their work. What has been your experience?
I'm not worried so much about the recognition I may get, because art is a process. It takes time. You have to know that you're valued. You have to make that decision early on that you're involved in art. I'm involved in art for the purpose of art. When I was a kid in kindergarten, I knew what I wanted to do, and I'm a lifelong living artist with a process, and it takes a lifetime, to unfold what you're trying to do.
Marvin, how do you see the future of art unfolding in Miami's heritage neighborhoods?
I see it through a collaborative effort of visioning. I did a show with Xavier Carter, who now is Miami-Dade's chairman of the Cultural Council. Ancestors at the Lyric Theater. He did it based on the Cuban immigrants and people that come to South Florida, and I related to the African and Caribbean people. So we wanted to show that relationship.
That was just the beginning. You're taking on a high-profile leadership in 2021, Marvin.
This year, I've been appointed chairman of the City of Miami Arts Council. I'm not only the first African-American artist appointed on the council, but I'm the first artist. My goal this year is to try to focus on neighborhoods like Liberty City and Overtown, to look more at Art Basel, that we can get local artists more involved.
This was an Art of Black Miami podcast, sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am Rosie Gordon-Wallace. Today we introduce you to artist Marvin Weeks. Through his writing, painted murals, and community activism, Marvin has been involved in strengthening the diversity of art and culture in Miami for more than 2 decades. His role in the Miami Arts Council promises to heighten the visibility of our heritage neighborhoods on the global stage in years to come. We recorded this conversation inside the Ward Rooming House, an art space in the historic neighborhood of Overtown, a mecca for Black art and culture. Art of Black Miami highlights the year-round art and culture scene in Miami's heritage neighborhoods and across communities in Greater Miami and the beaches. If you are enjoying our stories, visit artofblackmiami.com to learn more. Engage us on social media, post and share using the hashtag #ArtofBlackMiami. The Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau is an accredited, independent, not-for-profit sales and marketing organization. The GMCVB's mission is to attract visitors to Greater Miami and the beaches for leisure, business, and conventions. For up-to-date art events, promotions, and more information, visit artofblackmiami.com.